What is the most shocking thing someone has done in your house that they thought was normal? A boss told me, similar to Ruth Harvey's story, that they had visitors who let their young daughter roam naked and let go wherever she happened to be when the urge hit. This was a couple who were friends of his wife, and she'd been friends ever since undergrad days. My boss and his wife had visited their home a few times before they had a daughter and vice versa. In his opinion, they defined the wild-eyed far-left Californian, and he never enjoyed the visits. High's own wife was more conservative than her friends, but it would often be 3-on-1 no matter what the topic was. He knew nothing about sport because contact sports are barbaric. They both favored full-on socialism and so on. But then they had the child, so there hadn't been any visits in a few years. Until one day when my boss's wife said they'd be in the area. Wouldn't it be great to get together? She also hinted that maybe he could overlook their very liberal views and crank up the grill if things weren't going too badly. They arrive and the daughter, about 3.5, is naked within minutes. My boss starts to say something when the other wife, the mom, says that they're raising their daughter to love her body, and all three are often fully nude around their own house. My boss says something to the effect of, "Do you think it's a good idea?" when the other guy jumps all over him. That's why women are so put down. All most men think about is sex. How could you even think of sexualizing a 3-year-old? It's exactly that attitude we're trying to break here. She has no problem with her body, so it must be you. Clearly, he would not be cranking up the grill. Unfortunately, his own wife had never asked them to stay for dinner. He guessed he could survive another hour or so when the girl let go all over the hardwood floor in the dining room. She peed, she pooped, and then she peed more, and then just walked away. Meanwhile, her parents, who saw the whole thing, continued on with their conversation. When it became clear that they weren't going to budge, he got up to clean up the mess. That's when both parents yelled out, "Don," not his real name, "sit down right now. We are not going to have our daughter taught that natural bodily functions are dirty or bad." Now he'd had enough, so seeing that, his wife pulled him aside. He made clear that they were leaving right now, that they were going to pay to have the floor refinished. He never wanted to see or hear about them again, and he had half a mind at least to call Child Protective. Evidently, the other couple sensed what was coming and so loudly said to the daughter, "We'd better leave now. These are not very nice people, and we are better off without people like that around us." They did eventually send a check to have the floor fixed, and he never called CPS.